Hi everyone, I haven't done a video in a while, so I just thought I'd quickly do a journal flip of this one because I've had someone ask what it looks like before I start using it and it starts to get thick. So basically, cutting to the chase, I don't want to bore everyone. I was given a normal diary at work that said, you know, the company name, and it's got leather bound, and I thought, oh, I could turn that into a journal. And because I only want to use one signature per month, I thought, you know, I'll change this. So I had this, it's a cardboard that had laying around, which I didn't have the heart to throw it out because it just had beautiful patterns on it. So it was just sitting around, and I thought, oh wow, look, it just fits perfectly. So I trimmed it a little, rounded the corners, and I literally just glued that on to that. And you know, I'm happy with it. There's nothing, it's not going to come off because I've used Yoo-Hoo, which is quite a strong glue. And last month actually January and February, I used the journal from Moonside Parlour, which is super full, which I'm going to do a proper flip for you guys. And I had a lot of bits and pieces, or the beautiful ephemera she gives, left over. And I didn't have the heart to throw it out, and I really liked it, and I think it complemented the cardboard quite beautifully. So all I've done is use a double-sided sticky tape and glued that on and added this nameplate to it and just really stuck it down. And I had this ribbon with Seisha look. It's not really a mirror, but it's like a foil that looks like a mirror. And all I've done is just, as you can see, it's just stuck that on. Nothing too fancy. I wish I could do more videos, but I just always feel like I'm pulled in so many different directions with my full-time work commitments. My daughter's got activities every night. I also try to make it to the gym a couple of nights, and I love sewing as well, so I get kind of torn between sewing and journaling. I still want to journal every day, so it's just a crazy amount of stuff that goes through my head, but I still like to journal every day. So that's the front. This is the inside cover. Now, this is another card with a fabric that Melissa from Moonside Parlour had given me with my previous journal. So what I've done is just stuck that on because I love it. She's just one of the greatest. Her work is just beautiful. I have these little baby calendars that I've ordered, and all I've done is because I like to have I like to distinguish my months, and I don't know if people have seen it. From the beginning, I've always had an insert that divides the months as the month progresses, because I'm one of those people who doesn't work randomly. I like to work from front to back sequentially. I had this envelope which I've just stuck it on, and if I have any like stamps and stuff, I can just put it in there, because I do carry this journal. I will be carrying this journal to work. Whenever I have a bit of time, I write in it, so that's why I have these the envelope at the front. So so in this journal, I've used mixture of things. I have used magazine papers, I have used coffee dyed papers, I've used cardstock, I've used card, I've used photographic paper that's been printed on. So it's like literally, there is no rules. I've just decided to put in whatever I want to. Now, last year, in Sydney, we had works of Rembrandt that was brought over here. So I went to the gallery, and I had this image of Rembrandt, and I loved it, and I wanted to incorporate it, and I think it looks lovely. This is just a plain white fabric, nothing fancy. This is a hem from my husband's pants I took up, and I just made some ruffles. And guys, when I do my ruffles, it's just like I kind of eyeball it on the machine, and sometimes it's really crooked, and you know what, it doesn't matter. I try not to be a perfectionist because you know it's about having fun. It's not about trying to be perfect. So another exhibition I went and saw was the tapestry from France that was brought over here, which has never left France. So that's the other side. This is just some paint that I have on paper that I had just kind of played around with. So I've just sewed that on. That comes from I think a cover of a book. And it was like a belly band that went around the book. So I've just decided to use it because I like the gold and I'll probably end up covering bits and pieces of it. That's the coffee dyed paper. It's got William Morris washi tape that I think is really beautiful. Now this is another one that Melissa made, which I wanted to put in here because to give me a tuck spot. I did not want to waste any piece of stuff. And that's just a card I had hanging around. So these are just some of the very, very thin cardstock that I have, and I've just used them, and they're quite pretty. And so here, what I've done, because most of the cardstock I think don't give me a long thing, I've cut half of it, used just, what are these things called, masking tape, and joined them, and so I could do like the other side as well. And just given me some pockets that I've just folded over. I will probably end up covering this, I don't know yet. And I've sewed the envelope wrong, guys, but that's just an envelope. But I'll just I've just realized what I did after I did it. Instead of sewing onto the top, I've sewn onto the envelope. But guess what, you learn from these things and it doesn't matter. So this is another, I think it's stained glass window, Turkish, really old stained glass. I've just printed out on paper and copy dyed it. This is another, this was another image from Australian Art Gallery that I absolutely adored. It was just a beautiful flower. And I did have the heart to throw it out, and I thought, how am I going to incorporate this in my journal? I really love it, but it's just too big and too bulky to try to fold it. So I just made like a little pocket, and I will just literally cover it like a hat. So I'm just going to put it in, work on it, and just give it a little sleeve. And that's the plan, guys. Now these are some I think wall murals, really, really old, that I've printed on photographic paper, which I've just incorporated. These are Turkish tiles, and that's also from the gallery, I think one of the tulips, parrot tulips. I was given, there's a lady at my work that just gives me magazines because in the past I used to do a lot of art journaling, and I used to incorporate images to build the base of my work. So she still keeps on giving me a magazine, and she's given me one that's called Womankind, which is a magazine in Australia which I wasn't aware of, and it has fabulous images. And I thought, you know what, I want to use this. And look at that fantastic sewing. Very crooked, not to worry. So yeah, just had the word compassion, and like, because there's writing on the back and I can't really do very much with it, so all I've done is stitch this on, and I'll probably put some stamps over it and just use it. And guys, this tissue, you're gonna laugh with me. When I went holidays last year, this tissue was in the hotel wrapping. It was a wrapping that went around the toilet paper. And I just love the print, and I just, I thought, you know what, I'm going to use it because, you know, you don't need to tell everybody what it is, but I like the flowers. So I brought it back home, and I have incorporated it in all my journals, and I don't think you could really tell it's a wrapper for a toilet paper. So that's what it is. That's the magazine paper from... as you can see, there's like multiple ones of these, and they're just beautiful, from the Womankind magazine. This is just and the Womankind magazine also gives you these writing spaces. So I thought, hang on, I don't like the image on the other side, so what am I going to do? So what I did was got a piece of paper, and this is an image that I've printed it out from the Graphic Fairy, I think. I'm not sure. I think it is though. And all I've done is put the two pieces of paper together and sewn it. So that's that. Now this is a cardboard that my colleague gave me, and I'll just cover her name and I'll work over it. And I just look, it already has a stamp on it. It's already got the prints from Post. So I just really wanted to use it. I just did some frills, you know, sewed that on. I'll probably cover this. I don't know what I'm going to do until I get to the page. But yeah, that's a stamp that I printed out from Pinterest, enlarged it, cut it and used. I've told you guys before, there is a massive library of stamps that can be printed from Pinterest, and I'm very particular about the images I use, so I just print it out, cut it out, because I have got the scissors to give that you know, crinkle, I suppose. And yeah, and that's what I did with that. So that's the midpoint, and there's about 30 pages, guys, which is to cover the month, the days of this month. I don't see when it's like this fat, it's really, I find it's a struggle to use the back pages, so I just want to keep one signature per journal. And that's pretty much the flip through of what's in this journal. Oh, and there's a tuck spot and a stamp that I've just sewed on. As you can see, it's not very much. A vellum envelope, and I've stuffed that up too, guys. Look at that. And finally, the last page of that, I just, because there's no writing space, so I just gave some cardboard a pocket. I'll probably end up writing on that, and that's the last page. Oh, as you can see, I cut the note, or the diary out there, so all I've done is glued that fabric to reinforce, and also to cover the ugliness, I suppose, and just put some cardstock on the back and the front, and that's it. That's the diary, guys. That's it.